I was just going to say.
You're watching the PWR
On my 24, Milwaukee.
We knocked down the same amount,
Except different.
but I'm still better.
Coming up next on the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time, we take a look at the week from WWE, TNA, and ROH, including several new champions in both WWE and TNA. CM Punk's opponent at Hell in a Cell, members of Aces and Eights are revealed. Dolph Ziggler almost cashes in his Money in the Bank briefcase again, and we go in depth looking at the importance of TV ratings in wrestling today. All of that along with a special interview with Billy Corgan of the Smashing Pumpkins and Resistance Pro Wrestling, results of ROH Glory by Honor 11, and this week's Star of the Week. PWR is your weekly one-stop shop for everything pro wrestling, and Prime Time starts right now, right here on My 24 Milwaukee. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report, Primetime Television. Damian Nelson sitting here alongside David Octavius of Tiberius, the alleged backyard one-time Knockouts Hall of Fame Divas Hardcore Champion Hero.
Yes.
How are you, David, here on October 20th, 2012?
I am tremendous.
Are you?
Yeah,
You keep telling yourself that. You might believe it at some point. You know, George Costanza says, it's not a lie if you believe it.
It isn't a lie. So I believe what I say.
Let's go to this week's WWE news, ladies and gentlemen. And in the first bit of news we're going to talk about is what happened this past Monday night on Raw. David Hero, Ryback, is going to Hell in a Cell to face the WWE Champion CM Punk, and he's doing so for the WWE Championship. I did not think this would be the case. However, Ryback is a suitable substitute. Well, Ryback is a substitute for John Cena, who's not ready to get in the ring.
You were sitting here last week when I told you and I told the world there was no way John Cena was going to make it to Hell in a Cell.
You told them here there was no way John Cena was going to make it to Hell in a Cell a week after I told the world John Cena was going to make it to Hell in a Cell. So, excuse me a moment. If you can move your foot off my coattail.
I've been lately.
Ryback, Hell in a Cell. Is he ready? And what will this match be like in 2 weeks at Hell in a Cell? You've made some pretty bold claims. You did so Monday night on Meltdown that Ryback will be leaving Hell in a Cell with some new jewelry.
You know, Ryback, he may or may not be ready, but he's in the spot where he has to perform. He's not a rookie. He's been around for a while. He's been around since Al Snow's and, you know, when Al Snow was in charge of Tough Enough, back when he was Ryan Reeves. There's no way. There is no way Ryback does not leave Hell in a Cell as the new WWE champion. I do not want to hear about Brock Lesnar. I do not want to hear about a disqualification. It's a Hell in a Cell cage. A cage is supposed to prevent the heel from running all around the ring. This might be the best thing for CM Punk, because now he can't go into the crowd. So now his match has to stay in the ring area. Yeah, they may go on top, they may climb and whatever else, but a Hell in a Cell is meant to keep people out. Brock Lesnar does not need to get involved. They have invested too much time, too much money, too much TV time. You got 3/4 of the arena chanting, "Feed me more." It is time for Ryback to keep the streak going. He will beat CM Punk, but that doesn't mean CM Punk won't win the belt back shortly after.
At this point, you're simply trying to convince yourself that Ryback is going to win this matchup.
You know,
yeah, you are.
I am willing to DHS this already.
Well, that'll be next week when we do be the booker for Hell in a Cell.
I'm telling you right now.
I don't think anybody's...
You can't afford to derail Ryback. And CM Punk is...
You can't afford to derail CM Punk. It's all about the Royal Rumble, David Hero. January, The Rock. The Rock versus CM Punk. They've already been talking about it. There simply is not enough time between Hell in a Cell and December to properly promote Royal Rumble, because nobody will give a damn about Ryback versus Rock. It's already confusing. There's two R's involved.
It's not going to be Ryback and Rock. What's going to happen is CM Punk will drop the belt at Hell in a Cell.
Drop the belt? Who's going to pick it up?
Ryback will leave the champion. Then they will have a match at Survivor Series where maybe Ryback keeps the title again, only to then drop the belt to CM Punk in December. Now you have established Ryback as a legitimate top babyface, a main event guy.
And you've damaged Punk in the process.
Haven't.
Yes, you have. The streak would be over. 300 plus days as WWE champion would come to an end, and he would no longer have that to rest his hat on. He needs that going into the Rumble with The Rock.
For him to beat the guy with the streak and win the title from the guy with the streak means far more than any number of days as WWE champion.
Then he should just do that at Hell in a Cell. There is no viable reason why Ryback should beat CM Punk at Hell in a Cell.
Yes.
The question that many people ask, and you say, who's Ryback ever beat? Name a name. Give me one name Ryback's beat that makes him credible enough to defeat the WWE champion in Hell in a Cell in 2 weeks.
The three-letter word, The Miz. Right?
That is a marketable star that he did defeat once or twice.
They need stars. They need babyfaces. They need other moneymakers. Obviously, John Cena's not ready. May not be ready for another month or so. It's not listen, you can't derail Punk. He's way too over. The fans love him. They love to hate him. He still sells a ton of merchandise. They need to elevate somebody else. And right now, there's nobody else to elevate but Ryback. I don't care if he's a good wrestler. I don't care if he's a bad wrestler. I don't care if he can cut a promo or not. The fact of the matter is this. The kids, the fans, the men, the women that go to Raw chant "Feed me more." He's over.
They also chant CM Punk. I'm not doubting. I'm not disputing the fact that he's over. I'm disputing the fact that he will walk out of Hell in a Cell. You know what? I want to make this interesting. You want to go ahead and make a bold claim here? I'm so confident in my abilities, especially after
already DWHS'd.
Especially after this past Tuesday night's debate.
We
have a fundamental disagreement on this.
Just so you know.
Well, and those binders have gotten you in trouble just as well as they've got him in trouble. Be that as it may, we will make a wager. Next week, be the booker. I will wager you.
Ooh.
When you circle Ryback's name on that whiteboard, that in addition to me proving to you why you're wrong, I will wager something. I got to figure what it's going to be out. But look, we're out of time on that.
Show, when have I been wrong?
Every single week.
Never.
Kofi Kingston is the brand new Intercontinental Champion. It happened Wednesday night on the main event. This just days after Kofi Kingston just about decapitated The Miz with a kick to the head in his finisher, Trouble in Paradise. Kofi Kingston back on a singles push, back on a rise. He's the new Intercontinental Champion, defeating the
three-letter
former champion on main event this past Wednesday.
How good of Miz? You know, a little bit longer as a transitional Intercontinental Champion, but he got there.
Stop with the hate. He's not a transitional champion. He won it July 23rd. Now, some 3 months later, he loses it.
Yeah.
That's not transitional.
He never defended it. When did he defend the title? It was against,
I need one of those bracelet things that Buford T. Justice had.
I was going to say.
For when you raise my stress levels. When you raise my stress levels, it beeps and lets me know to calm down. Go ahead, Junior.
David Banner has one of those when he gets a little frustrated. Who? The Hulk.
Oh, the guy you make angry all the time.
Yes.
Smart move, not so smart move. Kofi Kingston, IC champion.
You know what? Absolutely a great move because Kofi needs it. Let's go backwards a little bit. He was part of Air Boom. Evan Bourne suspended. Evan Bourne breaks his foot. Then he's a part of, with Ron Killings, tag team champs, but uneventful tag team champs. They spent more time in singles matches than they did defending their titles. What do you do with Kofi? You put a mid-card title on him, the IC championship. Him and Miz could have a good little program for a little while.
They have so far. And Miz TV was great this past Monday night. The matches were great on both days.
Kofi's a company guy. He does what's asked. He doesn't get himself in trouble. He's been rewarded. But here's another guy that has gotten close. He was elevated with Randy Orton, but for some reason it didn't pan out.
For some reason, the band is now Team 3MB. And David Hero, you and your buddy Shane Helms on Monday talked about a little bit of a group of the past that 3MB might be taking a little bit of a style cue from.
You know what? 3MB is actually worse than 3 Count. And Google it, 3 Count, Monday Nitro.
Sugar Shane Helms,
Evan Courageous, and Shannon Moore. And then, of course, they threw in Tank Abbott towards the end. But, oh my good God, is that brutal. It really is.
Rey Mysterio calls in sick because he's afraid of Cody Rhodes. Rey Mysterio suffering from what might be the flu, what might be a little bit worse. Mysterio also taken off this weekend's WWE tour overseas.
Rey was visiting family.
No, he was not. He's sick.
He drank the water, and he got the flu.
He's scared of Cody Rhodes because he knows that Cody Rhodes and Damian Sandow, the Rhodes Scholars, are going to whoopeth their taileth come this Monday night on Raw and become the #1 contenders for the Tag Team Championships and then roll right into Hell in a Cell and win those titles.
All they got to do is they got those new Halloween costumes out of Rey Mysterio. They could just put somebody else in one of those little, get-ups and put a hood on them and.
Speaking of championships, Dolph Ziggler teases a cash-in or tries to cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase again just last night on SmackDown. His efforts would be thwarted, and
I wish he'd quit. He needs to stop. Either cash it in or don't cash it in.
He could cash it in this next Sunday at Hell in a Cell.
And he'd be smart to.
Remember, Edge first cashed in after Elimination Chamber at New Year's Revolution 2006?
Puerto Rico or something?
Still to come, ladies and gentlemen, on the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time, we talk about TNA and Ring of Honor, including the new TNA Champions crowned at Bound for Glory, and the surprising member of Aces and Eights revealed this past Sunday night at Bound for Glory. We also have a special interview with Billy Corgan of the Smashing Pumpkins and Resistance Pro Wrestling, along with the results from Ring of Honor Glory by Honor 11, along with this week's Star of the Week. But first, we're going to go in-depth looking at the importance of TV ratings in wrestling today, just after this short timeout. PWR Primetime TV continues after this.
There's only one place to get the latest from pro wrestling, including the only place to get 100% verified wrestling news. Watch or listen to all of our latest TV and radio broadcasts on demand and get caught up on wrestling news between episodes. PWRshow.com is the cleanest, friendliest, and most fan-friendly source for wrestling news on the web.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time Saturday night. Damian Nelson sitting alongside David Hero. And David, it's time to go to this week's in-depth segment. And this week we're going to be taking a look at the ratings war, if you will. Ever since the Monday Night Wars, people have been obsessed with the ratings of WWE and TNA programming. Some even go as far as to compare the two, which is a totally unfair comparison. Look. Ratings are important and can provide a lot of data to the producers and the networks. But we as fans should not be as obsessed with the ratings as we are. Ratings are so much more than the numbers that come out each week. You have to consider competition. That's why ratings were important during the Monday Night Wars, and the precise reason why they are no longer important today. What's so funny?
You know what's funny?
WWE and TNA do not compete against each other. Both shows regularly deliver the top ratings on the networks for the night, Spike TV and USA. Beyond that, they deliver the target demographics that the networks are looking for and will frequently win those categories against their competition. WWE Raw scored a 2.7 rating this week, which of course has many fans assuming WWE is panicking about these numbers. Let's be real. The only thing that they need to be concerned about is the downward trend in the ratings week to week. And one has to assume that even that is not an issue because they know they are going up against Monday Night Football, which has nearly always caused a dip in the ratings. What might be a little more concerning, though, is the fact that TNA Impact Wrestling scored a .86 rating with 1.12 million viewers going into their biggest pay-per-view of the year, Bound for Glory. Wow. Now, while that rating compared to WWE Raw does not matter, that number compared to the previous weeks of Impact shows a downward trend in viewership when one would assume that there would be an upward trend as stories are developed for Bound for Glory. But here's another surprise, David Hero. TNA runs against Thursday Night Football on the NFL Network. They're in a similar situation to WWE and with far less awareness than WWE Raw, which has been on the air for nearly 20 years. If all of us as fans just rated the show based on our like or dislike for them overall, perhaps we would enjoy them more.
We do rate the show based on our like and or dislike.
No,
it shows by the ratings, if people are watching or not. You know, you can take your little Monday Night Football thing and whatever. The fact of the matter is this. At the end of the day, the product is not as good as it once was. Do you know why that? Because when it was
Do
Raw,
I know why that is?
Yeah.
Perhaps I do. Yeah.
Because when Raw versus Nitro was going on, they were combining almost a 10 rating against Monday Night Football.
15 years ago.
Exactly.
15 years ago.
The product is not as good.
No. The landscape is not as good. The landscape is not as good. Wrestling has changed. Yes, I will give you that. It is not as good as it was.
Now programming, we got Honey Boo Boos and that kind of. You know what's a good show? It's Arrow. Have you ever seen Arrow? It's on our sister station on Channel 18 here in Milwaukee. It's fantastic. But going back to ratings,
I've been wishing for a long time somebody would put an arrow through your head.
Notice the arrow is pointing that way. Real tip.
It's pointing to the right.
Yeah,
which
the tip's going to get
this
you.
is the wrong way to point it.
So
just the tip?
Just the tip. So ratings are huge. That's where you make your money. That's where you get your sponsors.
But they're not bad ratings. They're relatively solid ratings.
Because look who now sponsors the pay-per-views. Look. When was the last time you saw a big name sponsoring something that's not WrestleMania?
If you're shooting arrows around here, you might want to put this on too, so that...
You know what? Hey, this is the official CM Punk superfan mask.
The point is this, David. The ratings are not what they used to be. When people look at Raw's 2.7 and then look at Impact's 0.86 and compare the two, that is not fair. They're not on head-to-head. Raw and Nitro were on head-to-head.
You can't compare Raw and SmackDown against TNA Impact Wrestling.
Absolutely not.
Simply, do you know why?
Why?
People were in Phoenix. Angel Armani, you know Angel Armani. He's a guy that never shuts his mouth. He was down in Phoenix. What are you in Phoenix for? Oh, I'm here for TNA Impact Wrestling's pay-per-view. What? In Phoenix. Didn't know about the pay-per-view. So when the city that's holding their biggest pay-per-view doesn't know about it, how can you expect casual fans to find it? Damian, stop comparing Impact to Raw.
I'm not comparing Impact to Raw. And stop romnifying this. I am not comparing those two. I'm simply saying that there is no comparison, and fans spend too much time looking at the ratings.
That's what I've been saying.
The ratings only matter to WWE, TNA, Spike TV, USA Network, and the industry.
Not true.
They don't matter.
You know why?
Why?
Because if I'm going to promote a GLCW show, I want to promote on the highest rated show. I want to get the most viewers.
But it doesn't mean that the show was good or bad.
Of course it does.
No, it doesn't. Was Impact bad last week?
No, it wasn't bad last week.
But it got its lowest rating all year for TNA.
I watch it regardless.
But you just said the rating shows whether the show was good or bad.
Of course it does, because when you look at the quarter-hour dips, what goes up and what goes down, you can tell people tune in when they tune out.
Your rating goes up and goes down. You know what? You know the last time we looked at ratings for this show? Probably about 4 months. Because I know your segments are very lowly rated, and I don't want that to skew the overall format of the show. Ratings don't matter.
Yes, they do.
That's all I'm saying about that. What does matter, though, is a big show happening tonight in Racine.
Hold on. We'll ask the universe.
We don't have a universe.
The PBR nation.
We have a flock.
We'll ask the family and the friends. They can tweet it out there.
Right now, though, I want to go to an interview that somehow or another you conducted with Billy Corgan. Billy Corgan of the Smashing Pumpkins, and has a controlling interest in Resistance Pro Wrestling, which a big event is occurring right now in Racine between you, your GLCW, and Resistance Pro. So let's go down to these exclusive comments for the first time a rock star here on the Pro Wrestling Report, other than me. Billy Corgan.
Dave Hero live at the Riverside in Milwaukee with the one and only the Smashing Pumpkins, Billy Corgan, also involved in Resistance Pro Wrestling, the co-promoted show with GLCW, October 20th at the Racine Civic Center. Billy, welcome to the show, and you're now in the business, in the wrestling business.
Yeah, I was, a fan for a long time, but getting in the business has been an illuminating and enlightening experience. Great fun, though. Wrestling fans, in many ways, are better than rock and roll fans as far as their loyalty and dedication. So it's a real pleasure to work in the wrestling business.
So, what got you involved? What says, okay, I'm gonna be a wrestling promoter, manager, owner, persona?
Well, technically speaking, I'm not an owner of Business Pro. I'm actually just the booker. But the Barron brothers were working in another wrestling organization out of Chicago, and I tried to get involved in that, and their other partners didn't want me involved, and so the Barons and I went in our own direction. We started Resistance Pro. Our whole thing is kind of we want to try to bring the old AWA feel kind of into the future. We think we can find that old school way to do things, but in a way that really embraces everything that's great about wrestling in 2012. We love indie wrestling. There's a lot of great indie promotions. But there's a reason a lot of indie promotions don't get beyond a certain point because they can't mainstream in the general public that's used to WWE or TNA product or even the old WCW. So our eyes are on the prize of being able to mainstream at some point. So we're in a little bit of a different independent wrestling company that we want to grow into a mainstream position rather than just sort of build ourselves as an indie.
And you've definitely made a big splash on the indies with Resistance Pro. I mean, people are talking about Resistance Pro, But
we have great talent, and that's where it always starts. I mean, the talent makes our ideas look good. So we're really lucky and we have great talent.
Well, I'm looking forward to Point of Entry, GLCW, and Resistance Pro. Al Snow, Bobby Lashley, Jay Bradley, Scrap Iron, Adam Pierce, Armando Estrada, Rhino, Zach Gowen, and much more. October 20th at the Racine Civic Center.
That's a good card.
It's going to be fantastic.
It's a really good card.
Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.
All right.
Take care.
Time is running out for you to get your VIP tickets to WrestleMania 29 from the Pro Wrestling Report. Less than 10 tickets remain in the PWR WrestleMania presale coming up for WrestleMania coming to New York and New Jersey on April 7th. Order now to get your seats in the official Pro Wrestling Report section of MetLife Stadium with access to a special VIP club suite, a ticket to the Shenanigans Party held in New York, and more exciting perks. Don't miss out on this chance to see WrestleMania 29 as a PWR VIP. Order now.
Hi, this is Lita, and you're watching the Pro Wrestling Report on My24 Milwaukee.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report, primetime Saturday night. Damian Nelson sitting alongside that guy, and it's time to go into this week's TNA report. And we are coming off the heels of a huge event, the biggest event from TNA, Bound for Glory, last Sunday night in Phoenix, where a brand new TNA World Heavyweight Champion was crowned in Jeff Hardy, defeating Austin Aries in Phoenix.
Great match. Jeff Hardy, the new TNA Impact Wrestling Heavyweight Champion, defeats Austin Aries in perhaps one of the matches of the night. A lot of great matches. People aren't happy. They love Austin Aries. He was actually cheered more than Jeff Hardy at Bound for Glory in Phoenix. But I think even though Austin Aries didn't win, he became a bigger star by having that match with Jeff Hardy. You disagree on that too?
I am a very big fan of Jeff Hardy, and I respect where Jeff Hardy is right now.
Here we go.
But the challenge is,
here comes the burial.
Let's look at a year and a half ago, and let's look at January 2013. A year and a half ago, he presented TNA with one of the most embarrassing moments in wrestling history at Victory Road. Coming up in January of 2013, he doesn't have a contract anymore with TNA Wrestling. Those are the two things that...
It doesn't matter. You're forgetting...
How does it not matter?
Wrestling changes. Much like Ryback. Austin Aries can win the belt back next month at Turning Point, and it means more.
There was buzz about TNA Impact Wrestling when Austin Aries was champion. Remember when Austin Aries won the championship?
Yes. And
Do
did
you
it
remember
move the needle?
What needle? Oh, the ratings needle?
The ratings needle. Did it?
For a time, it did, yeah.
Not really.
Absolutely, it did.
But you know what? We need to have an extra on this because we need to follow, because we will run out of time if I go off on one of these rants. Austin Aries became a bigger star by losing to Jeff Hardy because people are talking about it.
In this argument, yes. Ryback Punk, you're still way wrong. But in this particular situation, yes, I would agree.
I might be mistaken, but I'm not wrong.
Aces and Eights. There was a match for something at Bound for Glory pertaining to Aces and Eights.
It was
I don't know what
to let them get into the building, which they've been getting in for the past 4 months anyhow.
We would find a reveal made at Bound for Glory this past Sunday night, and we would see who one member of the Aces and Eights were. And that one member,
Dudley.
it was always me, quote unquote, he said, as the mask came off. And one of the most interesting crowd chants I've ever heard. This is awkward.
Well, it was awkward because it was, Devon and Bubba. Who would have thought the 4 main players in that match would be Hulk Hogan, Sting, Bubba Ray, and Devon?
Right.
Right?
Right.
The Dudleys and 2 icons.
Brand new television champion in Rob Van Dam. I know you wanted to talk about that.
We're out of time.
Bound for Glory this past Sunday night on pay-per-view. And you can get much more of our opinion and our analysis from the Pro Wrestling Report of TNA Impact Wrestling, including the show that aired this past Thursday night live, by tuning in to Sudden Impact Radio, which can be found at our website, pwrshow.com. Now let's go to this week's ROH news, and David Hero, Ring of Honor had a pay-per-view last weekend as well, where we saw Roderick Strong go on strike and quit the House of Truth before taking delivery of El Generico's mask at the end of the show.
You know what? Roderick Strong, he's one of the guys that has a ton of potential, and now he's
close to being endorsed.
He's a standalone right now, which is exactly what he needs.
Steve Corino and Jimmy Jacobs defeated the Briscoe brothers. They did so via pinfall, and they retained the tag team championship. Speaking of championships, David Hero, Kevin Steen defeated Michael Elgin to retain the Ring of Honor championship. Michael Elgin, who spent time right here in this studio.
2 big monsters, 2 big bulls, and whatever you want to, fighting, kicking, punching, the whole thing.
Screaming?
Steen and Elgin, I like that one a lot.
That's this week's Ring of Honor report, and it's time now for the comedy segment of the week, ladies and gentlemen.
Comedy. It's
funny, haha.
It's funny.
You think I'm funny? You think of some kind of joke? You think this is funny? I mean,
this
like funny
PWR
what?
Star
Funny
of the
how?
Week, you know what? It's a multi-tie. Yes, Kofi.
Oh wait! Stop it! Beep beep beep. Back it up. You got away with a tie once. You're not going to start giving 78 people Star of the Week each and every week on this program. It's not Stars of the Week, it's Star of the Week. And I do like the way you were going to include Cody Rhodes in that trilogy.
No. I was going to give it.
You better get on the.
I was going to give it to Kofi Kingston. But
he's had a great week.
But if I can't do it, then I'm going to give it to the TNA Impact Wrestling Bound for Glory pay-per-view. Those guys stepped it up. Their best pay-per-view of the year, if not the past couple years. All those guys worked hard. It was worth the $40. If you didn't see it, order it on pay-per-view.
It was $50 this year. Right?
Well, for you, I know people. It was awesome. Get it? See Uncle Al Snow, he was on there. Matt Morgan, he could be Star of the Week.
Matt Morgan back in TNA. Well, that's this week's Star of the Week. Bound for Glory. Good choice, because everybody did work their tail off in Phoenix on Sunday night. Be sure to join us Friday at pwrshow.com for Be the Booker, where we will preview WWE Hell in a Cell, David Hero, which is next Sunday night on pay-per-view.
Ryback will become the HIAC.
The what?
HIAC.
That special episode is only available at our website, pwrshow.com. Again, that's Friday night. And remember to get your tickets for WrestleMania 29, available now at pwrshow.com before they're on sale to the general public. David Hero, we're not exaggerating. Less than 10 tickets remain for this VIP chance to see WrestleMania with me.
The first batch.
Next week, though, on the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time, we'll have all the full week's news from WWE, TNA, and Ring of Honor, along with huge news on how you can watch every 2013 WWE pay-per-view for the price of one. Only we can do that. Thanks for joining us for PWR Primetime TV on My 24 Milwaukee. We'll see you again next week. Now it's time, though, for...
Really? For the price of one, we can pull that off?
Yes, absolutely. Why not?
Holy...
It's great. It's all about partners.
Gee.
How about Xtra, David Hero?
How many partners do you have?
Xtra. And, well, one thing's for sure is Hulk Hogan has a couple of partners.
Ooh, Hulkster.
One of them being Bubba the Love Sponges.
He did not.
I did not say Brutus the Barber Beefcake, and Linda Hogan put that rumor to rest after starting it.
I never mentioned Beefcake.
The look in your eyes. Oh, you meant, okay,
No,
you got
it's
Beefcake,
yours.
a Love Sponge, and an immortal guy with pythons. Hulk Hogan, in case you haven't heard,
You
ladies
said
and
that
gentlemen.
Hogan and Bubba were partners.
You never let me finish, okay? Hogan, I didn't see the tape. Hulk Hogan's got a sex tape. All right, let's break it down for you.
You did not see that tape?
I did not see that
You
tape.
didn't see the python?
I did not see the python.
All right.
What interest would I
My
have
wife is hot.
in
I ain't
watching?
gonna lie.
I'm pure. Hulk Hogan had sex with Bubba the Love Sponge's wife.
Yeah.
They recorded it. Hogan didn't know it was recorded, so he says. This tape, some 6 years later, gets released. And it's out there. Hogan's pissed. Hogan's suing, $100 million. He's suing Gawker, he's suing Bubba, he's suing whoever else he can find to get this, what he's calling his most embarrassing moment in life, and even listed the others that should be, including his son being in that accident, his divorce with Linda, where he lost 73% of his belongings. How would WWE handle this if Hogan were still with that company? And then we're going to talk about how TNA is or isn't handling it, because this, while it's publicity, it's ugly.
What? Can you imagine if the Hulkster was in the E right now with Linda and her political aspirations? What a nightmare that
Linda
would be.
McMahon.
Yes. Who'd you think I was talking about?
I don't know. You didn't specify.
Oh. Not that Linda. Really?
I'm just clarifying. Linda just sent me an instant message here, and I was, had her on my mind. Linda K.
Gotcha. You know what? Honest to God, what can they do about it? I mean, the genie's out of the bottle. You can't put it back in there, right?
If you rub it a little bit.
That's how you got in the trouble in the first place. But TNA, what are they going to do? They've had their own messes in TNA Impact Wrestling before, but as far as love triangles and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And they didn't handle that one very well either.
Nope. Look.
It's Hulk Hogan. Listen, if his name was not Hulk Hogan, it'd be a different story. If it was, let's say, a Rob Van Dam or a James Storm or a Alberto Del Rio, one of the guys that are upper mid-card, then they might be sent home or they might take them off TV. But it's Hulk Hogan. It's good publicity. People are talking about Hulk Hogan.
There's a point, though, David Hero. There's a point where good publicity, while it's always good even when it's bad, gets to be too bad and you got to cut a cord.
In today's society, big deal. He banged his buddy's wife, okay? All three of them ran on it. All three of them were agreed to it. And now because it got out, now they're hot about it.
These men, former best friends. Howard Stern, great friends with both, more closely aligned with Bubba than Hogan. Hogan was on Stern the other day. Bubba was on Stern the other day. Howard Stern and Robin Quivers alleging that this is a big grand conspiracy between the three of them.
I thought so too.
I don't see how. Look, Hogan knew there were video cameras in the house.
Of course he did.
Bubba's been saying to Hogan and Stern for years, if there's anybody I'd let have relations with my wife, it would be the two of you.
Even if you're
Stern
joking,
says,
you don't say that.
Well, I mean, I don't know if there was any booze involved. Or
it doesn't make a difference, booze or not. The fact of the matter is that the Hulkster did that. I don't understand why. I mean, yeah, like I said, she's an attractive woman.
Here it is.
I'm not watching it now.
I'm intrigued. I mean, there's a canopy bed here, and Hogan's sitting there. What's he looking at?
Her?
No, she's there, yeah.
Oh, she is there.
Mystery man off camera. That's Bubba.
It is
All right,
Bubba.
guys, do your things. I'll be in my office when you need me, if you need me.
Yeah.
And that's Hogan's bare ass.
Yep.
This is the Gawker version, by the way, folks. So there will be no. It's like Friday After Dark on Cinemax. Oh, really?
I mean, you know what? Hey.
Oh my, they're showing a lot. This is.
You'll poke your eye out.
I did not know that there was actual porn on this website. I thought they showed clips of stuff not happening. This is insertion.
Yes. What do you think sex is? It's insertion.
But Hulk Hogan is an American icon, ladies and gentlemen.
Of course he is. So is Bill Clinton.
There ain't no video of that.
They got the dress.
Well, Bill Clinton.
You know, what are you... Seriously.
Look, he's an icon. This is the last thing anybody needs to be seeing.
Brett Favre sent pictures of his gimmick, you know, to women. It's, you know what, that's just how it is. Come on, Damien. You of all people cannot be shocked by this.
What do you mean, me of all people cannot be shocked by this?
You and your OBT shenanigans?
Orange Blossom Trail? I've never bought one. I just like to take pictures and point. There's a big difference. There's a huge difference. Paul Fix, come here. We have a question for you. This is going to be fantastic.
Oh, my gosh.
Paul Fix, firstly, how are you, sir? Good to see you. I'm glad you dressed up for the show today. Come on in, squat down a little bit, get a chair.
You guys
You know,
good?
we're great. I want to show you something. Have you seen this?
What are you looking
I'm
at?
not going to tell you what it is. I just want you to watch and see if you... Do you recognize the extensions in his hair?
Is that the Hulkster?
That's Hulk Hogan.
Okay.
Do you know what he did just get off of her. He had sex with Bubba's wife.
He just fornicated.
Bubba the Love
wife?
Sponge wife.
Really?
Yeah, and they videoed it, and
Okay.
he's dining and dashing here because he's got to go.
Well, that's the best way to do it.
Dining and dashing.
But here's the thing. You've heard about this now. Hulk Hogan had a sex tape, or there's a sex tape that was released.
Yeah.
And Hogan did it with Bubba's wife. They were all in on it. Bubba agreed. It was cool. Do you think
Bubba approved this.
He encouraged it.
He's in the video.
Wow. Rock on,
He's
Bubba.
what do they call those? Something about a red light on the porch being on? Swingers?
I don't know, handkerchief on the doorknob, something. I don't know what that is. What? What Fix? What? So anyway, what's your question? Sorry.
Hulk Hogan, is this good or bad for him in TNA wrestling that he has got a sex tape on a website that anybody can go to and that is probably going to end up on video store shelves very soon? Hulk Hogan, the American icon, the man who equals pro wrestling, has fornicated on video.
Is it good?
I have not watched.
It's
do you
good.
see this sweat? This is porn that's been loaded on this. This is a company computer.
Wow, that's
I
not
get
good.
in trouble.
That's not good. I think it's good for Hulk. Personally,
It was great
but
for Hulk.
It's not good for anything else,
That was great for Hulk. He had a good time.
right?
I'm glad you're a pure and God-loving citizen who would not.
It can't be.
I mean, he just said this happens all the time, apparently. I don't know who he hangs out with or where he goes. It must be that hookah or something, but, I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't. No. I'm very taken aback by this. Thank you, Mr. Fix. It was great seeing you.
Serious?
Hey, thank you for the tickets. For
We're on air.
Saturday night. Yeah, thank you for the tickets for Saturday
That's
night.
tonight. Shouldn't you be there right now?
Yeah.
You just shattered the fourth wall here. We taped this earlier on Saturdays.
I know.
Really?
I know.
Paul Fix, ladies and gentlemen. Be careful going up those stairs, all right? All right, David, let's leave it at this. All right, because I'm truly...
You minimize.
I can't. That's
I did not need to
he's so
see the
ready.
Hulkster. I mean, he wasn't kidding about training, saying your prayers, and taking vitamins.
I will leave it at this, ladies and gentlemen.
The blue vitamins?
I will leave it at this. If he were the original question before you and Paul and everybody derailed us, the original question, should there be ramifications for Hogan?
No. It's his private life.
But it's now public. Lance Armstrong in his private life was doing all kinds of drugs and gimmicks, and now it's public, and now he's got all kinds of problems.
Okay, you know what? Yes. Yes.
Hold on, it's probably the IT department calling me because of
it's
this
probably
porn on the computer.
standards and practices. Oh boy,
It's fine.
it'll be okay.
It's just
It always is. You know what? I don't care. And I'm a hoaxer. I'm a Hulkamaniac.
What's
I
your
don't
dog's
care.
name? That's this week's edition of the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime and Primetime Extra, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you again.
I wish we had Linda's take on this, Linda Kay, because she's an expert in that kind of stuff. In videos. I mean, she knows.
For that one, this is Damian Nelson saying thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you again next week.